on the song Let's Go Away for a While, there's a voice.
Yeah.
And the voice says, but I guess Pet Sounds started not that long ago in my life. And this voice, the owner of this voice.
Yeah. So that's actually a pretty funny story.
Okay.
My good friend Sarah Anderson, we became friends in college. For one reason or another, she'd always not liked the Beach Boys.
She hated them.
I guess Pet Sounds started not that long ago in my life. But I was at this bar in Chelsea, and I heard Sloop John B. It was playing while we were playing pool, and I was like, fuck, I know this song. Which it got me through some shit. And I don't know, I was just like, fuck, I used to hate the Beach Boys, but now I love the Beach Boys.
Just like the past year or two, she said that she was really getting into them. This is one of those records that I wanted to get like all of my friends on it in some form or fashion. And Sarah didn't make music or doesn't make music, so I had sent her a text saying, "Get drunk and leave me a voicemail about the Beach Boys." And so
Which she did. She obliged.
Yeah, she did, and it was awesome. I was like, this is an instrumental track. It's exactly what this needs, and it fit very well in the chorus of the song.
And it prepares us for the next song, Sloop John B.
Yeah.
Because she says that's what she overheard. Was it at a swimming pool?
I think she said she was at a bar.
A bar, okay.
Yeah.
And then Sloop John B comes on and she's like, I know this song.
Yeah.
I like this song.
And that was the one, and then it comes right after.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I hadn't even thought about that till just now that song comes right after. But
yeah, fortuitous. And when that song comes just after, Al Church, who plays guitar and a few other songs as well, is the vocalist.
Yes.
And that was a great decision to have Al on that particular song. I think it suits him.
I don't really know why it felt like right for Al, but...
Did you invite each of the people to, I'd like you to come on this song? Or did some of them say, I'd like to be on this song?
Oh, I hit everybody up. And for whatever reason, like right at the get-go, once I had the first couple ones done and Sloop John B was coming around, for some reason, it just made sense.
Yeah.
And I remember even talking about it with my friend Matt, and I mentioned that I was gonna talk to Al about being on the song. He's like, oh yeah, that's definitely like an Al Church thing.
Yeah, so, it is that particular song. So yeah, we can hear Sloop John B at the moment. We just transitioned to it from the song that references it. So Al arrives at your room, which is lit like this. This is
Well, I mean, I think he came in the daytime.
And what was the process of working with Al like? By the time he came in, was all of the production on that track done, or had he previously been involved on guitar for other songs?
This was actually one of the first songs we did. I believe for this one, I only really had the drum beat, and I had like a couple like MIDI instruments, crappy soft synths laid out just for
like skeleton.
Yeah. And one thing, especially with Al, what I like to have people do is I just hit record when he's playing guitar, and I just have him play for like 5 minutes, and then I kind of go in later and then kind of shave things down, be like, okay, this could go here, and do this and that.
So he came in and he played guitar for that song on that day, and did vocals for that song. And then you built the song around that.
Essentially, yeah.
Using his guitar, the guitar parts in a very different manner. So.
Yeah, his guitar parts he plays on the song are only really in the beginning and the very end.
The very end,
yeah.
Like is it acoustic?
No, that's God Only Knows.
Yeah, exactly.
But he had the real like electric solo-y sounding thing, which is really funny because I just had this idea while we were recording, and I was just like, Al, could you just do like a guitar solo through the entire song? So that's just like a snippet of him just ripping this like 4-minute solo. And And of course, he just like does it right off the cuff and nails it.
So is he also playing the guitar on Here Today, which is POS on it? Because there's some like distorted guitar like near the end of that, I believe.
Let me think. No, actually, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah. So Al plays guitar on the end of Let's Go Away for a While, going into Sloop John B, and then at the very end of Good Vibrations. One of the things I didn't want to run into was continually using the same types of sounds or techniques on songs, but at the same time I had to balance that with I don't want to go too far out of the box and
you want it to be like a coherent record.
That was definitely one of the big challenges with it, but I think using the same like synthesizers for different parts definitely gave the record a certain color to it. There's one sound in particular that that was this patch on the patch number 7 on the OB6. I still remember it. This was before I owned the OB6.
Yeah. But and the OB6 is what we.
I actually only have like one part with the OB6 on the record because I ended up getting it right as I was finishing the record up.
Okay. What's the part?
It was like the bridge on Good Vibrations.
And good vibrations are happening with her. Gotta keep those loving good vibrations are happening with her.
I wanted that certain sound so bad. I bought this thing called an iRig. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's essentially, it plugs into your iPhone.
Okay.
And the other end's a 1/4 inch that you can plug into an instrument and record audio.
Oh, okay.
And so I would go into the Guitar Center and sneak back into the synthesizer section, plug it in,
record a record,
and like I would play each note one at a time, record it all, go home and like chop it up and sample it, and then like use that because there was.
You could have just hunked your iRig.
Right. Oh yeah. Totally. But there's like certain. That was just because that synthesizer at the time was something that was like unobtainable for me, but there's other ones that like the Korg Minilog I use a lot on the record, and that was one where I would buy it from Guitar Center, and since their return policy is 45 days, I'd record with it for 40 days, then return it, and then I'd buy it again from a different one. And I did that about 3 times with the record.
Wow.
And I don't own it anymore. But,
that's great. Well, that's commitment.
Yeah, for a lot of people that know me, that's like very much in the spirit of me as a person, I guess. Like
you pulled it off.
Like right. Once I have something like in my sights, I feel like an obligation to do it. You know?
There must have been some hurdles to on that mountain climb.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Thank you for overcoming them. Right near the end then of the process, I'm Waiting for the Day. Some really interesting stuff happens on that one. I think.
Yeah.
And that's got some extra backing vocalists, I believe, or at least there's the baby, don't you?
Yeah.
So what's that?
So
how
that's.
Did you decide to do? What's behind that decision?
Well, I had so at the end of the original song, they have that you didn't think that that part, and I thought it would be really cool to have. Just an all-female vocal choir on it, and I had Zinnia and LOTT who do they're like the features. They do the main parts. I had them, Minnie Blanco and Andrea Smith, Maxie do all of those, and just the way their voices came together was like. Perfect. And the baby, don't you know, that's Maxie doing she's doing that part.
That adds an element of great fun to that song too.
Yeah, and that turned out to be one of my favorites, because I had like a whole other production when Zinnia recorded.
Yep.
She recorded over an entirely different production, and then I scrapped all of that and used went in a different direction.
Is it in the second verse of that song? It suddenly gets quite intense.
Oh yeah. It gets so it's got like that kind of hard knocking.
Yeah, exactly.
I grabbed this sample from the 60s soundtrack of this guy screaming. I used that in and played the bass and the drum along with it to kind of give it like a really big, like I want it to be like in your face type of vibe to it. And that's like one of the big dynamic changes that I like on that song.
Me too, yeah.
And
why did that song call for that, do you think? Why is it...
You know, that was one of those ones that I remember doing, you know, when I did the first verse, I just had this feeling like it kind of built up to this moment where I was like, I need to like hit the listener over the head with something. Exactly like this certain, it's got to be like very intense.
Yeah, well, that you very much did, and it very much was. And
thank you.